The Baltimore Ravens have promoted linebackers coach Zachary Orr to defensive coordinator. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Ravens Media. Bringing Ravens content every single day. Do not worry. I have a Mike McDonald video coming out in probably around 2 hours. I recorded that one with my buddy Mike, who's a Seahawks fan, so we kind of talked about it from both perspectives to get, more insight into what Mike McDonald could be potentially doing in Seattle, and then obviously my Ravens fans' reaction to it. So that'll also be coming out today. But this news just happened. I wanted to talk about Zachary Orr getting promoted to defensive coordinator. So first off, I want to say it sucks Mike McDonald left. I did not want to lose him at all. You guys know that. I wanted him promoted to head coach. I wanted Harbaugh gone. I've said that all year. I said that last year. But Mike McDonald did leave. As expected, I made a video a month ago, and I said Mike McDonald's going to leave. The Ravens need to figure out what they're going to do. And so right when he gets leave, or a day or 2 days after he leaves, the Ravens go to their defensive coaching staff and they promoted from within, which I think is really smart. I'm glad they kept it in-house because you want someone to be able to keep that same scheme and also somebody that the players are already familiar with. You don't want someone that is going to bring a whole new defense. We saw, it can take a little bit of time to get into a new scheme, but this Ravens defense is built through Roquan Smith. And having the linebackers coach that everyone loves with Zachary Orr is, going to help with the motivation. He's, guys love him. He loves to talk. He was in Wired episodes, talking with the linebackers group. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it's the Texans playoff game, Wired. He was in it. And it's just something where I'm looking at it and I'm like, this makes sense. This is a good hiring. If I had to choose from the Ravens coaching staff who was going to become their defensive coordinator, I would have gone with Zachary Orr. I like that he's been a Raven almost his entire career. Undrafted rookie, becomes an all-pro, and then obviously has the neck injury. And it became, it was really sad because I wasn't doing TTB Ravens Media at that time, but from my understanding, including myself, we all loved watching Zachary Orr. Like we loved watching him. He was a really good player for us. Him and Patrick Owasso, I think, were just two guys that we loved to watch, and we were really happy we're Ravens. And then both careers ended up fizzling out due to injury. But Zachary Orr, he put in the work, and he was able to get on the Ravens defensive coaching staff, and work his way up. He's only been a coach for or in the NFL as a coach for 5 or 6 years. He's been, strategy consultant. He went to the Jaguars and outside linebackers coach for 1 year, came back after Mike McDonald to become that linebackers coach. And he's just become this guy that the Ravens team and Roquan Smith really like. And that's valuable, especially when this offseason we're going to have to figure out what we're doing at linebacker. He gets the biggest say in that because we don't know, do we need to re-sign Patrick Queen? Is Trenton Simpson going to be good enough? Should we draft a linebacker maybe in the first round or second round? Those are all decisions that are going to be needed to be made. And having someone in-house, I think, is beneficial because he's seen how they work. He's seen how they perform. He's seen their mentality on the sideline. So he's able to gauge, okay, do we need to re-sign Kyle Van Noy, Jadeveon Clowney, Arthur Millette, Ronald Darby, Geno Stone, Patrick Queen, Justin Matabike? Those are just the defensive players. But he knows those guys. He knows what they bring to the table. And he knows what he wants his defense to have. And so, if we decide to draft a cornerback in the first round, or if we decide, do we need a pass rusher? He knows what he has in David Ojabo. He knows what he has in Odafe Owe. What does he want to do with that group? I think this is something that is really valuable to the team because he's someone that's consistently gotten better and better throughout not just his playing career, but his coaching career. I was upset when he left for Jacksonville. I do remember that. I was like, man, I really like Zachary Orr. I want to keep him in the building because he played football like a Raven, and he has that culture. He has that mentality. And losing him, it sucked. And then he came back and it was like, yes, we got him back. And now he's promoted to defensive coordinator, which is well earned. We also we had an option Anthony Weaver. I assume Anthony Weaver's going to Seattle. I talked to Mike about that, um, just because he's been a coach a little bit longer. Mike McDonald obviously has ties. We lost our defensive backs coach, so I think the Ravens wanted to just say, let's promote our guy, get him in his spot, and then get rolling and figure out exactly what we need to do. But I wanted to make this a quick video. Um, those are my thoughts. He's super young. I think he's 31 years old right now. One of the youngest. I think he's the second youngest coordinator in the NFL. The youngest is Arizona's. He's 30 years old. But I love going young. I like getting new minds. That's why Mike McDonald, I think, was so successful. Is he's a new mind. He's a new scheme. People haven't done what he's done before. Zachary Orr comes from now kind of like the Mike McDonald tree, I guess. If it becomes a tree, we just have to hope that Mike McDonald is the Kyle Shanahan of the defense, right? Because you look back and you're like, okay, who was underneath Kyle Shanahan? And it was LaFleur, and it was McVay, and then Bobby Slowick, and all these guys come from that tree. We have to hope that we're getting the youth side movement started in Baltimore, where we can at least promote those guys from within. One final thing that is an addition, Zachary Orr is obviously he's a minority coach. And so if someone is to hire him outside of Baltimore to promote them to head coach, whenever, obviously not this year, but in the next 5 years, the Ravens would get a third round comp pick for it, whereas they don't for Mike McDonald. That is one of the ways that the 49ers have been able to stay very relevant, is they've had a lot of minority coaches. And that, I mean, they're already great coaches, but when they get hired out, they're not lose. Like it helps the 49ers because at least they're getting something in return. They're losing a good coach, they get a third round comp pick, right? They did it with Saleh, they did it with D'Amico Ryans, they did it with Mike McDaniel in Miami. The Ravens lost Mike McDonald and they didn't get anything, which sucks. But this isn't something that I think went into the decision making process, but it's just an added benefit. I think he's already a great coaching hire. I think I'm excited to see what he does differently from Mike McDonald, see what he likes a little bit different, but I'm excited to watch him, see how he does. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you guys think it was a good hire? And I'll see all of you again tomorrow.